behind St. Elmo Island, that large white and brown building, that is called the Swiss Chalet, and it was built by Mr. George Bolt to house the Swiss engineers and architects who came to supervise the construction of Bolt Castle. And today the Swiss Chalet has been completely renovated and now serves as condos.
Wow.
These next three islands are called Belle, Imperial, and Florence Islands, and they are considered to mark the end of Millionaire Row. Coming up ahead of us is what many consider the highlight of any tour out here on the St. Lawrence, and that is Bolt Castle, located on Hart Island. The castle was built by a man named Mr. George Bolt, who was a Prussian immigrant. He made it to the U.S. at the age of 13, and when he moved here, he lived in New York City. And after a few years of super hard work, he made his way into a manager position. And while serving as a manager, he was approached by a group of investors, and they wanted him to be the manager for their new hotel called the Waldorf Astoria. He accepted that offer, and one of those investors' daughters became his future fiancé and wife, Louise, and that is who he built this castle for. It said that George had a second love of his wife, his mother-in-law, and when she said she wanted to come live in the castle with them, he said there wasn't enough room on Hart Island, so he purchased this much smaller island off on our left with the brown cottage and red roof. It said that she was a chronic sleepwalker, and all the doors there open right out into the freezing waters of the St. Lawrence. That island is called Just Room Enough, and today is owned by a family from Ogdensburg, New York. So the first structure we'll see here on Hart Island is the Arch of Honor, and that is where George Bolt would have officially met any of his guests who were coming to visit the castle. The next structure kind of looks like a sand castle. This is Ulster Tower, or the Children's Playhouse. And inside the tower you can find a 2-lane bowling alley, a billiard room, a theater, and a kitchen. And the Ulster Tower is the only structure on Hart Island where the Bolt family lived, as it was their temporary living quarters during the construction of the castle. The castle itself sits 6 stories high, with 122 rooms, 45 fireplaces, and 365 windows, one for every day of the year. Inside you can also find a ballroom and an in-ground swimming pool, and an elevator, which at the time of construction was the only elevator north of New York City. Two coal-powered generators provide electricity and water to the whole rest of the island. But sadly, she passed away in her early 40s from tuberculosis, and the castle at that point was about 90% completed. And so George Bolt sent a telegram to the workers there, saying to stop all work. At that point, the castle lay abandoned for many years, purchased by the Thousand Islands Bridge Authority for a total of $1. There was a catch to that deal though, and that was that no one could ever live in the castle, and it could never be fully completed since Louise never got to see it done. And they also had to take all the money they make on Hart Island and put it directly back into the restoration of the castle. And today they put a little bit over $1 million into it every year. This group of islands off on our left-hand side, this is called the Manhattan Islands Group, and all of these islands were once owned by one man who was a marine biologist, and he purchased all the land here in hopes of studying all the marine life in the St. Lawrence. And he would have lived on the largest of the islands, which is Manhattan Island itself. Today it has that large white and green home. But the Roman authorities didn't think so. So when he said to them, "This is our wealth for all of the poor people," they became very angry and decided to prepare a gridiron on top of hot coals, and they cooked him alive.
Oh, that's nice.
And rumor has it that while on the gridiron, he said, "Flip me over, I'm done on this side," and those were his last words. It's a brutal way to go.
Really?
So this next property over on our right-hand side, the smaller house down by the water, it's actually the first ever trading post that was here on the St. Lawrence, back when the steamships used to travel through. And as you can tell, the doors are about 10 or 15 feet above the ground. It was a perfect level so that when the steamships went by, they could extend the gangway from their second floor and then load on or off the cargo. And when the property was later sold, the family wanted to tear it down and build their house right on the water. But the Canadian government said they weren't allowed to do that as it is considered a national landmark. So they actually turned it into a guest house, and just the foundation is what remains of the original trading post.
That's the
Yeah, beautiful. Look at this.
I wonder if clippers, sailing vessels.
You know, now that you mentioned it, that is probably the case. Obviously, for sailboat purposes, you're going to have room for the mast. Wow, look at this. People walking the gardens.
I think with the weather just turned, it's usually more crowded. Next week,
Well, I love the fact that it's just makes it easy to sort of get around and get pictures and video and get images.
So she said 365 days or so.
Tell you what, I hate to be the maid. Say hi, everybody.
Is that a 360? That's sweet.
This is our main pavilion. On my right, it's called Table Rock. Basically, all you do, where I stop, you walk up the cement pathway, you go over the bridge. As soon as you go through the doors, there's washrooms to your right. There are washrooms. There's souvenir shops, restaurants, fast food places. You name it. If you want to just ignore all that, which I would, and go all the way to the back, take the escalators down, right, last doors, the best view of Niagara Falls.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
If you want a free ride back anytime during the day, anytime if you're sitting on these park benches, we'll take you back. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good. Have fun, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
said?
Just tag us. Just tag us. We good.
Don't be surprised.
Yes. Let us know the name of the video.
Okay. Two-wheeled traveler. Two-wheeled motorcycle. Two-wheeled in the highway. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
I'll put you on there.
Yeah, thanks.